Yeah.
Okay, start. Jessica Winder. Jessica Winder is not here. She was on today. Anyway, let's go ahead. Anyone wanna trade her a day? Who signed up, or someone just feels so inclined?
I don't think I signed up, but I can do it.
Okay, thanks, Ryan.
I don't know. I might be signed up on another day. I can double day if that's okay though.
All right, come on up to the front if you don't mind. So we can see them. Yeah, you're signed up on the 12th week. So I'll put Jessica down here.
So I've been reading through the last Shell Conference in Zion, and a week ago I came across President Monson's talk, and I really enjoy President Monson's talks right now because they are so short. The whole talk is only 6 paragraphs, and with his health issues and everything that's going on, you know that what he's only going to say what he has to say because he only has so much strength and energy to do so. And he chose to speak about the Book of Mormon. The title of his talk is The Power of the Book of Mormon. And right now, talking to most people, I know that the semester's just crazy busy and everyone feels super overwhelmed with all the different stuff and applying for NCLEX and starting to apply for jobs and things. I really like the promises that President Monson gives with the Book of Mormon. So I'll just read a couple parts. He said, "This morning I speak about the power of the Book of Mormon and the critical need we have as members of this church to study, ponder, and apply its teachings in our lives. The importance of having a firm and sure testimony of the Book of Mormon cannot be overstated. We live in a time of great trouble and wickedness. What will protect us from the sin and evil so prevalent in the world today? I maintain that it is a strong testimony of our Savior Jesus Christ and of His gospel will help see us through to safety. If you are not reading the Book of Mormon each day, please do so. If you will read it prayerfully with a sincere heart, or sincere desire to know the truth, the Holy Ghost will manifest the truth of it to you." And then at the very last paragraph, he says, "My dear associates, in the work of the Lord, I implore each of us to prayerfully study and ponder the Book of Mormon each day. As we do, we will be in a position to hear the voice of the Spirit, to resist temptation, to overcome doubt and fear, and to receive heaven's help in our lives. I so testify with all my heart in the name of Jesus Christ." I just really love his promises, and he says it so simply: if you're not reading the Book of Mormon every day, then I implore you to do so. And if you do, we're going to have all these blessings, but the one that really sticks out to me is that you will receive heaven's help in our lives. And, you know, the power of that can't be really measured. Anything that we could possibly imagine needing help with, we know that we can receive that help. And if we read the Book of Mormon or something. Say the same thing Jesus Christ said.
Thank you. Would you mind offering?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Our dear Father, we're grateful for all the blessings that we have. We're grateful for the opportunity that we have to be able to come here to class today. We're grateful for Sister Orchard and Sister Dowling taking the time and the effort to prepare these classes for us. We ask that thou continue to watch over and bless us throughout the semester, that thou will help ease our anxieties, and we ask you that thou will bless us to have the strength and the courage to read the Book of Mormon every day and to make it a priority so that we can receive the blessings that we have been promised by our prophet. We're grateful for everything that was done for us in the name of our Savior Jesus Christ.
Amen. Thank you so much. Okay, there's just a little bit of housekeeping that we need to get done before we start into the meat of the everything. What we'd like to do is just talk to you guys basically about, let me go back here, about the HESI. You know that's coming up. You didn't know that, did you? So that's coming up on the 26th. It'll be open on the 26th at 7 a.m. That's on Monday. And it'll be closed on the 27th at 9 p.m. Okay, and that's in the testing center. Okay, so make sure you keep that on your calendar. The other thing that we wanted to mention was about the case studies. So we had a few people that I don't know if they were late getting into it or whatever, but the case studies open on Thursday after class. They close Monday at 0700. This is the same information that's in your syllabus, and they are not open all the time. Okay, if you have problems, while you're trying to access them, then you need to contact us because you shouldn't have any problem. And in actuality, there were only a few people, a handful of people that had problems getting into it. But we're thinking it's probably because they did it outside those parameters. So does anyone have any questions about that? And you're supposed to access them through iLearn, not go into Evolve. So through iLearn, and that's because the grade book needs to be populated with your score. So some people might have gone through Evolve and then they go, I don't have a score. That's because it's gotta connect. You've gotta do it through iLearn. So, yeah.
So I still had trouble with mine, and I tried outside the parameters, but I also tried Thursday night and Friday morning.
Okay.
I couldn't get it, so.
Thursday night and Friday morning. So, okay, do we know about that?
I would have to look into the login.
Alright, so,
But I have Gina Hoff, she's one of the really high Elsevier people looking into it. You know, we have you can go in and we can look in the login, and some that we're trying to get in, it's not showing on the login at all, whether you're going in through iLearn or whether you're going in through Evolve. And so that's something, the best thing you can ever do in that case is to take a screenshot, but make sure you've got your date and time, you know, the full screenshot. It doesn't do us really a whole lot of good just to have this little screenshot of this is this. We need to see, okay, what time is it, who is it, what date is it, and then that lets them go back and track so we can really prove they were in here on this date, they couldn't get in. And so right now they're looking into it. Hopefully we'll have some answers for some of you. The other thing, can I say something really quick? So, Sister Ardern went to a Elsevier conference maybe it was right after Christmas, I can't remember. One of the things that she said, that one of the most important things you all can do to prepare for your HESI is the case studies. And so, I would really caution you and warn you to not look at them like a hoop, like I just got to get this done, or if somebody shares answers with me, then I get it done and I get the full points. Really go into those and learn from them, because that's what will help prepare you for your HESI. It's one of the only things we can offer you, you know, other than the e-preps and the class and the resources through Elsevier. So really take the case studies, especially seriously when you're going through them. Get together in a group, discuss them, figure out what is it that I don't understand, why I can't. If I'm choosing this answer, it's not right, why? And remember the why at the very beginning of the semester? Always ask yourself why? Just keep asking yourself why.
Is there a way that we can, I know that we're not supposed to be able to access it after the due date or whatever, but like to prepare for my HESI, I'd like to go back in to go over them.
We can ask and see if we can reopen those after they've been done. I think the big thing we just want, you know, the due date on them, just so that it helps you guys to organize and say, hey, I have to have it done by this day, but if we can see if they can reopen those for
At least
you.
if it's even like the week before the HESI or something like that, so that we
They're for sure finished.
Yeah.
The other part of that is they're not timed,
Mhm.
so you can take notes. I know that sounds, but you're using more of your brain functions when you take notes. And so it cements it in a little bit better than just, you know, reading it. So reading, writing, you know, it does help in terms of that. So
has everybody gotten kind of planning on studying right now for the HESI, putting aside some time every week, or cramming will not help you, I promise you. There's got to be something you can kind of do along the way, besides just your prep for the week. You know, how are you going back and starting to learn some of those other concepts? Just start making a plan now and spend a little extra time. I know you guys are pretty stressed and have a lot going on, but we love all of you so much. We don't want to see you next semester.
no offense. No, but we would like to see you succeed.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the semester one that you probably found of organization, really structured, and you just have to do it. You know, you just have to, you know, drill it into your schedule. Today we're just going to cover these 3 chapters. There's a lot of information in them, and so well, what I want to do to begin with is divide you guys into 4 teams. So it looks like there's 2 on the team, and then maybe a team of 3. So we're 10 people, right? Come on, Alex, you gotta get out of the corner. You wanna be your own team?
I'll team up with him.
Okay,
Team of
okay, that's great, all right.
Team of 2.
So anyway, so when you see a question flash up here, we're gonna let each team take a turn. If that team gets the question, they get a point. You keep your own scores, I trust you. And then if you don't get the point, it goes to the next team in order, okay? So, have you already decided on your teams? Alright. So vulnerability.
I'll go with you.
Vulnerability. This is a question for you. Are you a vulnerable population?
Yeah.
Have you considered yourself as being a vulnerable population? And in what way?
Yes, we have no money.
Okay.
You're right now.
You're right, no money, and what you say?
Worse.
Okay. Yeah,
It's the same thing, just repeated.
yeah. I heard someone talking earlier about, I'm just so tired and I'm not getting very much sleep. Does that make you vulnerable? What does it make you vulnerable for?
Cranky.
Yeah.
Stroke.
Makes you susceptible to being all kinds of illnesses, immune system.
Good. Yeah. So, I mean, we've all heard that, especially when you're in college, you just don't wanna miss a class, you don't wanna miss the notes and all that, so yes, you are vulnerable. So, with that said, actually, the definition of a vulnerable population are those at greater risk for poor health status, what you just said, and healthcare access. Who in here does not have insurance, health insurance? And why do you all have it?
School requires.
The school requires it, but if you weren't going to school, you were out in the community and had a job, they may or may not provide your insurance for you. So you would have lack to a lot of healthcare access, and that's very, very common. So, in your chapter, I think it was chapter 8, they talk about the natural history of disease model, and that's just those 4 stages that we see out there in healthcare, So for instance, the 4th stage right now, someone was wanting clarification on that, on their E-Prep, and they were like, well, I don't get the 4th stage. Anybody wanna share that? We are in the 4th stage, and we've been in it for quite a while, several decades now. So, where's healthcare really focused right now?
Reform.
Okay, reforming, and what else? Is it in the hospitals like it used to be in I think stage 3? Where is it now?
Prevention,
Sorry?
more prevention.
More prevention, yes, much. Yes, and those 3 levels of prevention are really important for you to understand. And I'm not talking just on a community basis, but in healthcare, wherever you work. So right now, we're in the healthcare is out in the community focused right now.
So I was just gonna mention, I remember when I was a nurse back decades
Yeah,
ago,
I know.
people in the hospital with a gallbladder would be there for a week and a half. Now they come in, they're in there the same day and they're out of there. So it seems like the people in the hospital now are a lot sicker than when they used to be in the hospital. And we would have them in there for longer periods of time.
They're sicker, many are older, because our older population, we've got a bigger older population right now. There are a lot more that are not insured. That's a problem with our healthcare system, and Trump's trying to fix this, what Obama had, and that's a whole nother discussion. But basically, the disease model, you need to understand where the healthcare system is at right now before you get into it, because as you do, you will find some of these problems that we're talking about, and it's like a web of causation, the next item up here. It's like, what's causing this, and this causes this, and it's just a web. Vulnerable populations are actually being more recognized now, and there are committees and there are groups to help them. Multiple cumulative risks, or maybe say comorbidities, are out there, chronic conditions There are more chronic conditions now in this stage 4 than there was in stage 3 because there was more acute. And right now there's more chronic because people are living older and they're living with their chronic conditions. And then there's the issue of resilience. You know, how many of these people are very resilient? So, all right, so factors contributing to vulnerability. These are some of the ones we just talked about, but I want you to know what is disenfranchisement.
Disconnected from the community.
Yeah. So do you feel like, who would be disconnected from the community? Who would feel like they are? Who? The elderly?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the shut-ins, what you call shut-ins, the people that are not very mobile out in the community. I saw, on the way here, I saw an elderly gentleman. I mean, I've lived in my house for like 20 years. I have never, ever seen this guy, ever. And he was walking out to his mailbox. I didn't even know what he looked like, didn't know him. So, I mean, there's a lot out there that we have to recognize that are, you know, possible threats to our community. All right, so healthy people, you've already been there, done that. There's 38 topics that they talk about health disparities. What is the difference? You need to know in your mind the difference between health disparity and socioeconomic, social disparity or social determinants of health. And I think you probably know that on the e-prep. So health disparities are when someone really cannot access the help that they might need, okay? So I want each of you groups, how many did? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I have 5 groups up here. So each of you, so you guys, you take the drug addict, okay? You're the drug addict group. And then you guys are child of a single parent, fresh off the boat, and then a Syrian refugee, and then an elderly man, okay? So that's your status, and I want you to imagine you have the very worst toothache possible. Terrible. I mean, it's like bulging at the root area, it's like red, and you see some pus. I mean, it is so painful. So tell me how you will access health care. You just can't live with that. I mean, you can't sleep, you can't eat. What are you guys gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I was gonna say, well, we're druggies, so we can just go get some more drugs, so.
Hidden from my parents.
You could go get some more drugs. Okay, but as you present to a healthcare provider, if you should attempt to go there, what are they gonna think? If you're a drug addict, they think you're going to just be seeking drugs, right?
We just go to the ER.
Oh, that's
They
another,
would think that players do, but.
that's another problem in our society. Everybody just goes to the ER. And
Can't be turned away.
if it's life-threatening, you can't.
It's a really bad toothache.
This is sick. Okay, how about you guys? Which ones are you?
We're the child of the single parent.
Child. So what do you do besides cry a lot?
Hopefully the parents can afford insurance and things like that.
Okay, so you're hoping your parent has insurance.
If they didn't, you could, I don't know, like Medicare, or no, Medicaid's the one for, low income families, so.
Okay, so if you're on that, you might be covered.
Mhm.
Good. So that's what your thoughts would be? So go to that. Okay, you guys?
You don't speak English.
You're
We're fresh off the boat, we're fresh off the boat.
fresh off the boat, and so what would you do?
Oh, man.
You're seeing.
Well, I
I
came
mean,
here
you don't-
because
no,
I was
no, no,
promised
no,
free
that's
healthcare,
not-
that's why I came here. I'm pretty sure there's programs set up for immigrants, right, when they first get in. Wasn't that part of what
Maybe,
we're here?
maybe not.
I think they screen them, and as they come in, they do a lot of screenings and health assessments and all that.
But do you not think that there are people that are arriving here unnoticed? as
Yeah.
well.
I don't know about in this area, but I'm from Southern California,
Yeah.
and so illegal immigration is a big thing, but there's free clinics set up for them.
Okay,
That's state though, not federal.
okay.
So they're free for technically anybody, but they'll charge you if you're white.
Okay,
They'll say that. They'll
even
say,
if you're
"Maybe
white,
you can pay."
even if
What
you're
if you're
white
white
and
Mexican?
became poverty,
That's a thing.
what if you're white and you claim poverty?
They're specifically for undocumented immigrants.
Okay,
Those
right.
claims are.
So for instance, there's a free clinic in Idaho Falls. If you have a job, it's prorated, okay? So you get to pay a little bit,
Mhm.
but it's prorated depending on your, your salary. But then there are, like you said, undocumented people, it is free for them. So, per state can be different that way, and.
How do you get rid of your documents if you have them? You wanna go?
Sorry. I'm glad you're in the system, actually. Okay, the next one is who? Syrian refugee.
I was totally sure. Yeah, we're Syrian, right? Oh, maybe not. Did you guys do other ones?
No.
Okay, we'll just do Syrian. Probably doesn't speak English at all,
Right.
so that's an issue there.
more of a free clinic type stuff.
Okay, so how are they gonna understand what you say?
Unless you get a translator or something, they're not gonna understand at all.
Okay.
And probably if you're a refugee, you're probably gonna go through some pretty intense
Okay,
experiences.
so if they're labeled refugee, yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, and then an elderly man, you women back there.
You would likely have Medicare, so that took care of that part. The thing I see as a problem is maybe transportation, trying to get to a health clinic, so you can maybe contact family or friends or a neighbor.
Because, yeah, and that's one thing that's really great about the church, and I love. We have home teachers, we have visiting teachers, and so we can kind of reach out to those. So that's all good. So can you understand how it really might be what you might think is a minor thing, but you know what, when you have a toothache, when you have an earache, it really, really hurts. It's excruciating. You need help. And if you're in any of those situations, you really do need access to health care and how hard it might be. So health disparities. So now we're talking about the social determinants. Make sure you know the difference between those. So we talked about healthcare access. So social determinants, and this is what Healthy People says is the 5 key areas, and this is a picture in the book. But anything from social determinants, education, lack thereof, nutrition, so money for food, stress, someone has 3 jobs, any kind of prejudice at all. So these are actually social determinants of health, even geographic location. How is that possible? Geographic location, how about people that live way, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, for part of my research paper,
Yeah,
in my town, there's like no access to mental health, psychologists or anything, no access at all.
that is, and what's your town?
Susquehanna, it's in Pennsylvania, it's Susquehanna.
Oh.
Really, really small town,
Oh, okay.
like population 900.
Oh,
Very small.
Very small. Oh,
Like,
wow. So it's quite rural.
It is about 45 minutes north of Grand.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So we'll talk to you a little bit more when we start talking about urban and rural health, right? Because that's interesting, yeah. So even geographic.
Joanne, just really quick on that, this is a good thing to think about if you address, if these are applicable to your project. Taking into account, these are some of the demographic things that you need to be kind of looking at to see if they're contributing to the health issues.
And that's a good point. Basically, you're looking at their education, their access to healthcare, their economic stability, your population. How are they impacted by these? Even the built environment that we talk about, what is a value that you really can't change is right there. or is it, you know, a gateway to healthcare? And then social and community contacts. All right, so here's the case study. So after this, we'll be asking some questions. Oh, sorry, do you want this? Oh, you go right ahead. No, you can go ahead, just tell me. Okay? Okay, good. No, let me know, because I can wait up here. So you've got Joseph Smith, who's a registered nurse, works for the public health system. Once a week, he's assigned to a charity clinic at a Catholic church. And it is staffed by volunteer physician and other volunteers, physical therapists, even nursing students do clinical there, pre-med students, and interpreters are important. So the clinic provides free medical dental services to the poor and homeless. Only qualification to obtain care is that the patient does not have medical insurance and does not qualify for public assistance.
Oh, that's a lot.
Is that right? Okay. All right, so you guys, you got the first question here. He's treating a 52-year-old male for possible eye infection, and while the patient's at the clinic, the nurse also requests a dental evaluation and educates the patient. Diet, exercise, smoking, alcohol, whatever they need. What type of nursing approach is being used in that healthcare setting? Come on.
Oh, is this a group question?
Yes, it's a good question.
Oh.
Come on, you're a team. I don't like the word group, honestly, I like the word team, but this is, you have to agree. What is it? Come on.
Probably B or C, because holistic would include their emotional and spiritual state as family-centered services. Doesn't look
All
like
right,
it.
we got a timer here, well.
So I'm gonna go with B.
Okay, comprehensive. You're right, it is comprehensive. It's more that they're being able to be concerned with more than one health problem. Okay, more than one health problem is comprehensive.
Hey, Joanne, I'd like to ask that too, just follow up on that, is why? Why
What is
comprehensive?
comprehensive?
Well, now that it seems like I'm just copying it now. But yeah, as I was adapting, holistic requires a little bit more broader spectrum of care. Family-centered services, there's nothing to do with family, and wraparound services, I really didn't know what that meant,
Okay.
but it was between B and C, comprehensive and wraparound.
Okay.
So I thought comprehensive was like, well, we're taking care of the patient.
More than just the, okay.
And that's my question, why? If they're coming in for an eye infection, why are we then looking at the teeth and everything else?
Well, for one, diet and exercise that contributes to physical health. Smoking, that's gonna ruin your teeth. Alcohol, that's not gonna help either. So you're gonna help them quit.
Well, your mouth is like a gateway to the rest of your body. So if your mouth is in a really poor condition, you're gonna get sick with other things. And so by treating the mouth now, we can prevent a lot of other illnesses in the future, especially if you have poor hygiene.
Also, you don't know, like, when you're gonna have access again to the health. Like, with transportation, that can be hard. If you can't get there once in one treat that year.
That's right.
And you know, there's a lot of places like this that make appointments and people don't keep them. And that's one reason, because they don't have a ride there, or they don't know how to get there. There's not a bus system, for instance.
So what's the definition of wraparound?
Okay, we'll get there.
I don't know if anyone else read it, was it in the book about, like a homeless person with a TB test, you wanna have him, or then go back to the, oh, is that?
The sequence.
Oh.
All right, so stay tuned.
Make sure we answer that for you.
No, stay tuned, yeah.
Make sure we answer that for you.
Okay, if we can, I know it's on PowerPoint. Okay, so next team. When working with the vulnerable populations, it is imperative that the nurse does which one? So I guess that would be girls, right there.
It's okay to talk now.
Select all the five.
All right, so would you want to refer them here? And that's what you guys are thinking. Which one? I think more on a one-to-one level. A, okay, good. You're right, A. And in those situations, you've got to do what you just did. You've got to kind of eliminate, well, we do this one because, and I know you know this, but this one is the safest one to go with because it's more of a one-to-one interaction, you know, meeting them culturally, linguistically. And this is really, really important in the hospital. I have heard nursing students actually talk to or teach their patient using words, and I'm thinking, I don't think the patient knows what that word is. I mean, for a student, it's just a word to you, and it explains, you know, stands for something healthcare-wise, but they don't know what that word means. Well, here's your electrolytes, they're okay. What does that mean?
Try working with pediatrics.
Oh, so, and then with that picture, then you would talk to who? Not the child, the parents. But it's the
But
same
most of
thing.
the time they still don't really
Yeah, exactly. And so you have to really, you know, meet them on whatever level they're at. You might be talking to an educator, you might be talking to someone who didn't finish high school. So if you're just, you know, teaching someone, a sixth grade level is a really safe level of entry, you know, when you're talking to people. And just remember, you don't use words like I just said, like, well, your phobia is full. What's that? Okay, next group. So you do get that point, and you guys got that point. Okay, next group. In partnering with vulnerable clients, which of the following techniques will create a more successful interaction with the individual client? And this one you can select on.
Oh, yeah, we get this like all the time.
ACM.
You are so good.
That's 2 points, right? 3 points?
No. But that was good, that was really good. You did it. So, you want to, of course, I mean, this is like common sense to you by now in the nursing program, avoiding, directing, and controlling. Initial step is trustworthiness. Okay, so let's keep going on. So here you have the word wraparound services again. I think there's a question on it, so I won't completely go through that, but for you to contrast that and comprehensive services. Advocacy, you would want to see where they can go in the community for that, for social justice, and that has to do with anything legal, of course. Linguistic.
Want to talk about background services?
Here's a question.
Here's a question.
And should we not know about it before the question?
We will clarify if we can get to the question. And if I'm wrong and I deleted it, I will tell you the difference. All right, so case management though is really something that we've got coming up in a couple of weeks. Case management is really important when the individual goes out to the community and then they're managed down there in the community, so case management is important. All right, so the role of the nurse, assessing the vulnerable. So these are just some things that are kind of things to help you when you are working with vulnerable populations. Focus on prevention, and that would be which level of, there would be primary, right? Focusing on prevention. And these are just, don't make assumptions, and I think you guys know these pretty well. But just to reiterate, we want to, know when to walk beside the patient and when to encourage the patient to walk ahead. So, okay, everybody good? Okay, all right, so levels of prevention for vulnerable populations. I just kind of showed you a slide, but, so primary. Okay, so next thing, primary. For vulnerable populations, how can you help a vulnerable population using primary prevention? Okay, we're talking about you guys, I think, right? Just think of an example.
Just for primary, like, well, secondary prevention would be like screenings and everything. But primary prevention, I guess, would just be, immunizations or educating them about risks that they don't have yet, right?
Okay,
Like even nutrition and diet, I mean, they don't have an issue yet, but
okay,
things that they could.
okay, good, good, yeah. Yeah,
Tell them to brush their teeth and be primary prevention.
well, not just how long, but you would probably show them and teach them. Yeah, remember how long and all that stuff and, you know. Okay, so that's 1 point for your group. Okay, another is secondary. Secondary.
Is it still up for the next group or? Please,
No, you already answered that question, so you got a point. Next group, secondary.
Guys have screening, right, screenings.
Like TB tests, and what else? So you have some female Hispanic that just came across the border.
Oh,
So what would you screen?
it's a screening.
I didn't even hear you.
Probably infectious disease.
Okay, like what? Come on, you guys, please stand.
Is that profiling?
Yes.
They'll have no part of
Hispanic women have a pretty high incidence of breast cancer, so mammograms. So just, you know, you're on the right track, I'm just wanting you to be specific, how you would apply it. Okay, and then, did I miss your group?
No, we need to.
Okay, so Alex, you and Hannah, Sherry.
Removing a rotten tooth.
Okay, treating.
I was gonna say, like, helping them get access to medication for, illness that they have.
Okay.
Like if they have infection, you could help them with antibiotics or.
Okay, so treatment, someone.
The
What?
newer image of medications that are cheaper.
Oh, the generic?
I forgot what it is. You know,
Alright.
when they have the same chemical makeup, but it's a different structure, but it's cheaper.
Oh, just over the counter.
That tells me.
Generic?
Yeah.
No,
I'm generic, but it's like the same name.
So basically, I put these up here for you, and you're all on the right track, so you got your points.
So when she was asking about the second one on secondary prevention, about the TB tests, and was that your question?
Yeah. Yes, and right here, this is kind of what you were talking about, in terms of, teaching people how to read your TB test.
Yeah, I read that exact sentence, I was like, so you're teaching them how to read their own test?
Well, this is in desperate times. Usually, you and I know that they have to come back in 72 hours, and it has to be read by a registered, you know, by a nurse. But if you have a migrant family, you're gonna be gone next week, or tomorrow, you're going on to the next farm or whatever. Then what would you do? You can't follow them. I mean, let's just say you can't, it's in another state. Yeah, so some of those would not be acceptable.
So I'm a little confused, there was a question on the quiz, where I was talking about TB screening and giving medication, and right here it says screening secondary and medication, like treatment for TB is tertiary. But
Okay,
the quiz said it was all secondary.
Well, I know which was question you're talking about.
yeah,
I think what they're saying is screening and then providing medication so that it doesn't turn into disease, and that's why they have it in secondary.
yeah, good, thank you. All right, so who's next? You guys. Okay, so these 3 community nurses have a grant from the US government to counsel homeless young women and find appropriate legal and health services for them. Which nursing approach are they using? This isn't the red grant. I'll just give you that one. All right, they have a grant to counsel homeless young women and find help for them. So they're the. Okay. Let's see. What? See? See, I don't get that. All right, let's see. It involves working for the rights of other people, so remember patient advocate. You hear that term a lot in the hospital, of course, but you know what, same thing out in the community. So when you can help them access health providers and legal aid, that's the same thing. Okay. Sure. Okay. So advocacy. That's just helping others to get access. Yeah. Okay. Got it? Okay. All right, so here's the other question. So furthermore, they will work to find appropriate legal and health services for their clientele. Name at least 4 of those services out in the community or resources out in the community. Think of your clinical experiences, things that you have done, know about.
Could a women's center work?
Okay. All right. Okay, now which group are, which team?
Oh, I was just throwing some out.
So it's a sorry, you're recorded.
Okay, 3 more. So you're helping women.
Okay, so then yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you see, I don't know if it's about, but also big things.
Okay. Ooh, good.
Last one, but
Got us 3.
I think BEC, the behavioral health centers.
Okay, probably.
Well, I guess actually, because the BEC is owned by Arnett, which is private. But do they, I don't know.
Well, you would need to go to a doctor. You can't just walk up to the front door and, you know, get in there. You have to, you know, it has to be documented through a doctor, or else they will not admit. So you have to go to the hospital, be a patient, and then they will, you can do that. Okay. So, good, we'll give you the point. These are actually some of the other places that you can go to. Think about going to any of these for your clinical experiences for this course. So if you haven't been to, I don't know, church-sponsored assistance, I know that also means, you know, they're going to go work in a, what's it called, in the cannery or in the, something with something else, maybe they could work with the, I don't know. And then, yeah, okay? So many of those. So we're gonna talk about now poverty and homeless.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think I will send you this link. It's only a minute, but yeah, we're almost out of time. We want to get to the raffle question. Okay, so poverty influences are defined as, it's not just lack of money. Okay, you can be in poverty for other reasons as well. So, lack of social cultural access, political influences, and then, under political influences, the federal government comes in, or the state government, comes in, and then, depending on your cost of living for a family. So you get help. So for instance, in Idaho, all right, so for instance, one person, it made under 11,880, and Idaho did your poverty guideline. Okay, there's two people and you make under $16,020, your poverty. Three people is 20,000, etc. So there are accessible services for you. I think what's really interesting, and we'll do it right now, is to go to another country and find out the developed, undeveloped, developing, and see what kind of medical system they have. Anybody been to a place where you have a place outside the United States and think about how do they take care of their people? And in Africa, how do they take care of it? In Bolivia, what kind of a healthcare system do they have? And so that's something else to do.
Hey, can I just back up? I had somebody had a really interesting perspective on their prep, and it was saying, people in poverty, they make this little money. Usually they are eligible for these kind of resources. I've had a lot of people in home health where they aren't eligible because they own a house, and they're worse off than some of the people that are considered poverty because they don't have the access and they don't qualify for some of the programs. And so, it's good to keep an eye on not just ones that have the smallest amount of money, it's not just money, but.
Yeah, so that would be young families, especially, or older people that own a home, maybe for years and years and years. Now, might get just buy a house, but they own it, and that's a problem, especially if they owe the hospital money and different things like that. So that's really important to consider. So poverty effects and health and well-being, just higher rates of chronic illnesses was mentioned, and morbidity and mortality. And if you go to these other countries, you'll see a lot more of that. And that's, I don't know, that kind of hits my heart really hard when you see that. In other countries, shorter life expectancy, and then complex health problems, of course. Physical limitations to chronic diseases. So, maybe I didn't see that man who doesn't want to park on a lady, and I saw him once in 20 years, maybe has had some kind of a chronic something, or several, and then hospitalization. So, next group, where are we? Okay, so Jackson, a community conference, has passion for working with this advocacy program. This is because poverty rate for children is higher than any other age group, to determine roughly what percent. What? This one more. Wait, let's not.
Poverty rate for children, these children.
Children living in poverty, so what percent of children are actually living in poverty? Okay, so what do you think? Perfectly 9, 10.
This is the highest.
Okay, B and C, B or C, yeah, let's do which one? Oh.
Let's say roughly.
Exactly, so what do you want? I'm sorry, your test is in there roughly. 10. What? 10. So C? And No, it's actually a little bit higher, 21.8% according to your book. So other groups are, of course, poverty and women and older adults in poverty. Where's your wraparound? You want to read this, Hannah? Yeah. Jackson?
Jackson has a lot of the comprehensive, wraparound service center for the homeless workers. We like to think of ourselves as a one-stop shop for the homeless, he said. He may be right, clientele can get help for everything from bus passes and medical help.
Okay, stop. So what's the difference between wraparound and comprehensive?
So wraparound is what you do just.
Good. So comprehensive is anything medical. Wraparound are other things that the person might need to live, to get around, transportation, whatever. Okay, so that's wraparound services.
Do we know why the poverty rate in women are on there? So like men are older adults are on there, but like why women in poverty?
Statistically, there are more women, like single women, well, I say single because they're not married, head of house, but they have children. You will have a higher percentage of those than, for instance, men who are head of house with not married, but with children. And there is actually a growing number of men with dad, like single dads. There's a growing number of those than women with children.
So, but do we know why that is? Is it because there's like work opportunities for women, or is it just because they end up having the children and that brings them below because they have
Right. Yeah, yes. Okay, and then there's a lot of other things too that could impact that as well, so. So yes, we feed them but we teach them nutrition, recreation, blah, blah, blah. But wraparound is actually, for other things, other living conditions that they might need. All right, so factors affecting a growing number of persons in poverty. These are just some of those. So here's one answer for you. Weak enforcement of child support statutes. Have you ever heard that? People get divorced, the children go with one parent, usually the mom, and the husband just doesn't pay child support. So that puts her in poverty level as well. Not that child support is the end all, because it isn't. It's so much per child, but she's not working, she's at home with children. Or let's say she does get a job, and then who's gonna take care of the kids, when she's still at work? So that's just one factor. Increasing numbers of children born to single women, and we'll, in the last couple of minutes, talk about teenage moms. So that's an issue. Outsourcing of American jobs. We all know that, I did this one time. I walked through Toys R Us, and there was, I looked at every toy I could, where it's made, okay? Now, I hate to say this, but they were all made in China, except for one little push toy I found made in Mexico. There were not any American-made toys. And I know that Trump is actually trying to bring that back a little bit more.
I know, I was shopping once with my sister, and all of a sudden she raised this shirt up in the air with the clothing, and she's like, hey, made in America. So same thing.
Yeah. I know, I went through my cupboards and I took out all the stuff made in China. But anyway, I know, my kids thought I was terrible, but anyway. So these are some of the other factors. Increase in female-headed households, changes in the labor force, etc.
I think another thing that you can think about with the women question I just thought about is that two of the main things you can think about that are indications of poverty is education and income. And we know women are paid way under what men are for even the same job. So that's something that within education, usually if women get married and they haven't gotten their education, then, unless they go back and get it, they're gonna be this low educated, low income person that then puts them more at risk for poverty.
So it really affects the whole family. Again, if you want, I'll send you these YouTubes. They're just kind of interesting to watch, but they're about homeless in America. And so what did the Stuart McKinney Homeless Assistant Act say? That was on your e-prep. It defined what?
Oh, what is a homeless person?
Exactly. And what is a homeless person? There were three things under there. You don't have to tell me all three. And this is not a question for you, but just, for everybody. So what defines a homeless person?
The lack of regular nighttime living.
Okay.
They don't have a fixed address.
Okay. Good, good. Yeah. All right. So that might be something that would be interesting to know. All right, why are people homeless? This is the next question, and where are we in our teams? All right, below are trends which contribute to the growth in homeless in the past 25 years. So we're just a big overview. Which one does not apply? A trend that does not apply.
D. I think D.
D? You guys are really gonna do good on your, very nice. Yeah, so the other ones actually do apply. Okay, we'll move on here. Primary, secondary, tertiary, we will skip this because you will do it. Here they are right here. So for the homeless, primary would be affordable housing, preventable healthcare services, for instance, like meal exchange. And then secondary, screening people that might be homeless. So for instance, if there's a fire, okay, and hey, these guys don't have family, they don't have anywhere else to live, so that would be screening them for possibilities for their family. So secondary. And then tertiary is the case management that I was talking about. They're looking into it in a couple weeks, okay? So teen pregnancy, next teen. You're the next teen, okay. Highest rates of teen pregnancies occur among which of the following age groups? 30 seconds. So what? Okay,
We'll do 15.
you'll do B?
Oh.
D. So, all right,
Educated.
so got it?
Population.
All right.
Oh, because they're married.
Oh,
That doesn't count.
all right, no point. All right, so violence during teen pregnancy, next group. You guys. So teens are more likely to experience violence during pregnancy because select all that apply. Okay, ready? Tell me.
Yeah.
So what?
A and B.
Okay, so A and B. So they're more likely to experience violence during pregnancy because A, C, and D.
So what does it mean by poor birth outcome?
So they have trouble, like a lot of teen pregnancies, you probably found this out in your pregnancy class or your, peds, that sometimes teens are more at risk for certain things during pregnancy, right? And so complications is not an all easy, oh, we have a nice healthy baby, here we go. A poor birth outcome might be premature, number one. And if there were drugs or smoking involved, there will be problems with that.
Why would that cause violence
Yeah.
during pregnancy?
Statistically speaking, that's what they say. So I'm just giving you the facts, but that's statistically speaking.
I think the question is what is the definition of violence during pregnancy? Are you talking about like actual
Physical.
violent physical?
Physical.
Oh, okay.
All right, so repeat teen pregnancies. All right, so 19% of teen births were repeat births. So what's the problem there?
But they keep having kids as teens.
Yeah, but why?
Well, this may be a little judgmental.
Oh, go ahead, Alice.
Well, if you're a single mother, then you can just keep having kids and that increases your income from the
Oh.
I know that I've heard of some people, met some, where they just keep having kids because they get more money.
Oh, I see. I got it, yeah. And that's actually, it might be a little judgmental, but it is a fact. That is true, yeah.
I read in the book saying that it's important to get these teen moms back into school to decrease the chances of getting pregnant. And it's hard for that to happen whenever you're one because you don't really have people to.
You are so right. What was interesting is driving here this morning, I heard an ad, and it was the voice of a teen mother, it was on the radio, voice of a teen mother, and she was saying that she got pregnant in high school her very, very last year, almost ready to graduate, and she got pregnant, she had to drop out of school, or she did. Some can continue, but in her situation, she had to drop out. And she kept the baby, and she said that now it's been 10 years later, and she's finishing her high school diploma. So that is not an easy road, and everybody has different circumstances. So one thing to do, I think you guys should notice, is include the fathers in any discussions. That's if they want to be included. And they don't even have to marry, but they still need to be included in, in the discussion. So, all right, and again, levels of prevention, we won't go through that. But teaching young people about, sexual practices and about protection. And they mention these two in the book right here. That's just examples though. And then secondary is early detection of teen pregnancy. So not waiting way late until, I mean, depending on what mind frame that you're in, some people would probably go get an abortion if it's legal in that state, and others may not. But early detection, and why? Health care, help with the mom, help with the baby. Okay, folic acid, I mean, she needs to be taking her prenatal vitamins. So, and then tertiary is counseling them about available options if she keeps the baby or not. Okay? So make sure that you actually know those. Oh, sorry, I got you a couple minutes late, sorry. All right, so teams, how many points? Oh, that's too bad.
3.
We had 4. We had 3 and a half.
We had 3 and
We
a
had
half.
4.
How about you guys? And then you guys? And then the last team?
Is there even a prize?
Oh, I there's a prize.
Well, then tell me, I got everyone.
7.
know, we got everything. Okay, watch that guy. What many points did you guys get?
We had an uneven amount of questions though.
Yeah.
That's
So we all got 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's enough in here, but everybody can take one.
Hey, you guys, it's really interesting right now in the news down in Utah, they're having the biggest discussions about homeless people, what different places are trying. So, if you're interested in it, it's kind of neat to see the program planning and trying to figure out what they're doing, because the amount of homeless they have is just getting so much bigger.
It's almost like a profession.
I mean, sorry to say that. But what I'm saying is when I went down to BYU, because I was in school there, and this was just, 2 years ago, I knew same corner, same freeway exit, who was gonna be there, what they looked like, same signs. And I mean, this is over 2-year period. Yeah, it's the same, yeah, it's like a way of life, and that's why I said professional style. Yeah, so they found a lucrative corner, and they just stayed there.
When I was a senior in high school, I went to skip over in LA, and my group did an interview with a bunch of people, and we interviewed over 100 people, and I would say half of them said that they were choosing to be homeless. Now, whether that's true or not, but they said that they enjoyed the lifestyle of being homeless. And they chose to do it. And then LA County was having such a huge, the reason we did that was LA County was having such a huge problem, they were actually busing their homeless people, rounding them up in buses and busing them out of the county.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they would fall into other counties and homeless.
I heard of that.
That's your
Going back into.
What's it, LA County? Oh, that's where it's like out.
But we was there. So for one of my conferences, if I had on the service, those contest.
But they don't.
Yeah, but the,
Resources.